Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of The Fishing Teacher, and really appreciate you guys visiting the channel and spending some time with me today. Really appreciate that. And guys, today I want to go over and give you sort of a comprehensive guide on how to choose your chatterbait or your bladed jig color setups. You know, there's a lot of different variations in a bladed jig as far as the colors of them, the colors of trailers. And I've got about a dozen different color setups here that I use most of the time on all my bladed jig fishing. And I'm sort of going to go over the conditions, what makes me choose a certain color over another. Because I can tell you right now, guys, when you're fishing chatterbaits, the color of a chatterbait has a lot to do with how many fish you catch on it. So we'll get into that in today's video. Also, guys, a couple quick housekeeping tips. I just wanted to remind you, since I did finally get my new boat in, I'm starting my on-the-water lessons back up. Anybody interested in booking an on-the-water lesson with me, just go to my Facebook page, Randy Blaukat Professional Angler, and shoot me a private message for information. And also, I'd like to invite everybody to please consider subscribing here to Intuitive Angling. Really pushing hard to try to get 20,000 subscribers. Also got channel membership, so invite everybody to check that out. Really appreciate it. Okay, guys, chatterbaits, man, you hear there's two lure categories you hear a ton about in YouTube videos. Flukes and chatterbaits are two of the most popular ones. Chatterbaits are an outstanding bass fishing lure. I probably rank them, like right now, definitely in the top 5 of the best bass fishing lures that are out there. And when I talk about bass fishing lures, guys, you know I'm talking about real bass fishing. I'm not talking about lures for spotlighting for bass. I'm talking about real hardcore bass fishing. Chatterbait definitely in the top 5, probably even in the top 3. So I got mine laid out here, guys, a bunch of different color situations, a bunch of different color options we're gonna go into. Now, first of all, let's talk a little bit about the weight of a chatterbait first, and we'll get into the colors. There's 2 sizes I use, is the 3/8 and the 1/2 ounce. That's what I use most all the time. Most of that has to do with 2 variables: how hard the wind's blowing and how deep I want to fish the bait. If I'm fishing the bait around some super shallow targets, most of the time I'll go with the 3/8 because I can keep it higher in the water column easier. But if I'm fishing it down a little deeper, say for submergent grass beds, or if the wind's blowing real hard, or slow rolling it off a rocky bank, I'll go to the 1/2 ounce. But that's my two setups there. So let's go through some of my favorite color setups here. Now, one of my first one, guys, is any type of a shad pattern. It's usually some type of a translucent skirt, may or may not have any chartreuse in it here, with some type of a shad, colored, trailer on it. I use the Zoom Swimmer most all the time. This one right here, the Zoom Shimmer Shad most all the time as a trailer. Also, guys, I'll link all this stuff in my Tackle Warehouse description. I'll put all my bladed jig links in there, my favorite trailers. If you guys want to use that link to get you some, it's a good deal. But this is one of my favorite colors. Now, usually if the water is really clear and it's not bright, and it's not, you don't have much sunlight penetration. If it's pretty bright and clear and you don't have much low light conditions, I'll take the chartreuse out of it, where I just have nothing but the straight shad color. This is going to be my clean water, tough fishing condition, type of a chatterbait color with the silver blade on there. This is probably one of the most popular colors for most people. Now, things you can do with that to sort of aid that a little bit is sometimes I'll take like just the shad color skirt like this with no chartreuse in it, and I'll put a little bit brighter trailer on it, something like the chartreuse here. So this is it sort of just gives it a different look. And also, if the water's got a little bit more color to it, or if maybe it's overcast a little bit, I can get a few more bites with that. So for example, on these 2 here, both of these are shad skirts, but this would be my one for brighter conditions, cleaner water, and this is going to be for cleaner water with just a little bit more low light conditions, clouds, early in the morning, shade, that type of deal. Next one, guys, I like a lot is the black and blue, some type of a black and blue with a black and blue trailer. Now, the black and blue, this particular color works really good around any type of aquatic vegetation, or if you're fishing in Florida. A black chatterbait, for all you guys that fish in Florida, is one of my favorite colors. For whatever reason, it works really good. Like I said, anytime you have that tannic water that's associated with aquatic vegetation, the black can be good. Also, guys, black is a really good color if the water is pretty dirty and off-colored. So if I'm fishing a chatterbait where that water visibility is about 12 inches, A lot of times I'll use a black to silhouette it a little bit more. And also, if you guys fish at night, black is your best color of chatterbait fishing at night. A lot of people don't know it, but a chatterbait is a really, really good nighttime lure. So that's the conditions that I use for that. Now, when you're talking about my personal favorite, the ones that I have probably caught the most fish on with any type of a chatterbait, it's definitely going to be some type of a green pumpkin, watermelon, with some type of a green pumpkin or watermelon trailer on it. This right here is probably my favorite color. Most of the time though, I don't, this one just has a gold blade, but most of the time I'll have a black blade on it. So something like this right here. And most of the time with my blades, I'll paint them fingernail polish. You can match up, you can touch up a scratched up blade because the blades will get scratched up from the rocks. So carry some fingernail polish and you can touch them up and make them green, brown, black, or whatever. But if you can have one chatterbait color that you can really rely on most water clarity conditions, well, not most, but anytime the water visibility is like 2 to 6 feet in a lake, which most lakes fall within that zone, you can't beat a natural green pumpkin watermelon color. Absolutely, I think is probably the best color out there. I use this probably, out of all the colors I talk about here, I probably use this one at least 50% of the time. And I'll probably use the shad pattern 25% of the time. And then some of these other colors we're talking about the other 25% of the time. So don't ever get don't doubt the effectiveness of some type of a green pumpkin. And I got it in here, guys. I'll show you. There's a lot of different type of green pumpkin variations. I tie my own skirt, so there's a lot of different type of greens that you have out there. You got some metallic like that. You got some scale patterns, but any type of a green deal is a really good deal. Okay, the next one is some type of a bright one. This is a, this one right here has got a bright chartreuse blade on it, really bright skirt. This is going to be a color right here that works really, really good in dirty water. If you have water visibility in that 10 to 12 inch range, dirty off-colored water, it's going to be hard to beat a really, really bright chatterbait bladed jig with a chartreuse blade on it here like this, usually with some type of a bright trailer. If you have those days that are say cloudy, rainy with dirty water, try something like this. It'll really work good to set it apart from other things. And let's see some other colors here. Let me look through there. Here's another variation of what I'm talking about with the green pumpkin with some type of a green or brown blade on it. That's a really good color set up there. And there's a lot of different ones that you can buy. Like I said, I tie most of mine, just hand tie them by hand. So that's the main thing with that. But as long as you go with, just a variation, the ones that I just talked about there, you can't go wrong. The other thing with chatterbaits is there's a couple variations as far as the differences you get with the trailer on it. Now, there's a lot of different trailer variations that you can have on it as far as, bright, natural color, translucent colors. You can put dyes on them. You can mix and match them. Sometimes, fish, they want the straight tail trailer. Sometimes they want more of a curly leg trailer that you just sort of have to experiment with it. But there's a lot of variables that go with the chatterbait that determines the success. It's not only the color. The color is really important. It's the color in correlation with your trailer color. It's the size of the head you're using. It's the type of retrieve that you're using. It's the pound test line that you're using. It's all that type of stuff. A lot of different variables with it. We've done a lot of chatterbait stuff in the past, but if I could give you guys some tips as far as just to, simplify it. If you haven't fished a chatterbait much and you just want some basic tips on it that'll help you out, is get 2 different colors. Like I said, get you some type of a green pumpkin and some type of a shad. You don't have to worry about the other stuff. Just get you 2 basic colors. Get you a couple of the 3/8 size, a couple of the 1/2 ounce size. Put them on 17-pound tests. I usually use Seaguar and VizX line. You want to have some type of a medium action rod. This is another thing about it. A lot of people use too stiff of a rod, but some type of a 7 to 7.5 foot medium action rod that has a fairly a soft tip on it. You don't want a stiff tip. That's going to allow you to hook a lot more fish. And then have 2 different type of retrieves. My favorite 2 retrieves are some type of a pumping retrieve where I'll throw it out there and I'll let it hit the bottom and I'll pump it and let it go to the bottom and pump it back. And the other time it's a slow medium stop and go retrieve like that. Just reel it like a slow medium retrieve, stop it. And what happens is that chatterbait will be working across like that, then you stop it, you stop it just for a second and it falls, and you bring it back up. And a lot of times that'll generate a strike. So throw them anywhere that you throw anything. When chatterbaits first started coming out, a lot of people thought that they were just for fishing around grass, shallow grass, which that's still probably one of the best places to fish it. But as we've learned more about it and learned more about, the type of water fish will bite a chatterbait in, there's no situation they won't. So if you're fishing a stretch of shoreline, I don't care if you've caught them on a crankbait, a spinnerbait, a glide bait, whatever, throw a chatterbait around any type of target that you have or not targets. You can throw them down just bare rocky banks. You can throw them around lay down trees. You can throw them around the side of boat docks. You can throw them through lily pad fields, down the side of grass edges. You can throw them around, riprap bank. Chatterbaits will get bites anywhere. And some of my close friends that fish like the Elite Series circuit and the Bass Pro Tour that fish a bladed jig a lot and they don't talk about it, they literally fish it 12 months out of the year on any place they go, on every piece of cover. One of my, really good friends, Brent Chapman, fishes the Bass Pro Tour, and Brent he's a chatterbait expert. He does really good with it. And Brent really opened my eyes to how many different type of areas that bass will bite a chatterbait in. He throws the thing around everything. I don't care what it is. And the only thing that he does is he just varies the color, varies the speed of retrieve occasionally until he hits upon what the fish want. So anyway, just some broad, basic chatterbait tips there. I think it's going to help you out. Like I said, you can go back into my playlist on my intuitive angling channel. I got a bunch of chatterbait videos in there. We cover a bunch of different stuff besides this. So anyway, hope helps you guys catch a few, and we'll talk later.